In recent times, Europe faces a remarkable decrease in the interest of young people in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This general disinterest among young Europeans is more evident in the natural sciences. The shortage not only affects the future of tertiary education systems, but also jeopardizes the pillars for a knowledge-based society and economy in Europe. European Commission's reports state that the spotlight should be focused on improving the educational system itself. The real challenge is to reimagine science education and to try to both make it appealing and fit the needs of all students, whether they will go on to work in scientific and technical subjects, and those who will not.
Όλα δείχνουν ότι υπάρχει ένα πολύ περιορισμένο ενδιαφέρον των μαθητών για τις φυσικές επιστήμες και αυτό το πρόβλημα ξεκινάει, υπάρχουν και άλλοι παράγοντες, αλλά ένας σημαντικός παράγοντας είναι ο τρόπος που διδάσκουμε τις φυσικές επιστήμες. Οπότε θεωρούμε σαν Ευρωπαϊκή Ένωση Φυσικών ότι θα πρέπει να γίνουν κάποιες κινήσεις που αφορούν κυρίως στην κατάρτιση των εκπαιδευτικών και μάλιστα όπως λέμε στην κατάρτιση που λαμβάνει χώρα μετά από την αρχική τους εκπαίδευση από τη στιγμή που βρίσκονται στα σχολεία. Αυτό περιλαμβάνει μια σειρά από δραστηριότητες, καλοκαιρινά σχολεία σαν αυτό που πραγματοποιείται εδώ, επισκέψεις σε μουσεία, καταρτήσεις σε μουσεία και σε επιστημονικά κέντρα όπως το CERN, αλλά και επίδειξη καλών πρακτικών, δηλαδή σκοπεύουμε να δημιουργήσουμε μια μεγάλη βιβλιοθήκη με καλές πρακτικές, έτσι ώστε να είναι διαθέσιμες σε όλους τους εκπαιδευτικούς, σε όλες τις ευρωπαϊκές χώρες και βεβαίως σε ολόκληρο τον κόσμο.
Inquiry-based science education approaches focus on student inquiry as the driving force for learning. Teaching is organized around questions and problems in a highly student-centered inquiry process. Students learn through and about scientific inquiry rather than by teachers presenting scientific content knowledge.
Inquiry-based means that the students learn to act as scientists, not just to remember facts, that they really learn to solve a problem.
Funded by the European Union under the 7th Framework Program, the Pathway Consortium brings together experts in the fields of science education research and teachers' communities, scientists and researchers, policymakers and curriculum developers in Europe and beyond. The Pathway Project develops inquiry activities for schools, connects schools and science centers, connects schools with scientific research, establishes and promotes teachers' professional development. The widespread use of inquiry-based science education in primary and secondary schools in Europe and beyond is the main goal of the Pathway Project, which is running in 13 countries and is reaching more than 10,000 teachers.
We reach 10,000 teachers all over Europe, which in Europe always is a big issue, because when you have a European project, you don't have one language, you have, if you are lucky, 12, 14 languages. That means you have to do all the teaching in a national language. And the teacher really needs training, because a teacher is in office for 30, 35 years, and within 30, 35 years, for example in biology, everything change, also in physics, also in chemistry. And that's the reason why we really focus on teacher, and at the end of the third year, we are really now on the stage that we reached 10,000 teachers all over Europe.
The aim of Pathway is to set the pathway toward a standard-based approach to teaching science by inquiry, to support the adoption of inquiry teaching by demonstrating ways to reduce the constraints presented by teachers and school organizations, to demonstrate and disseminate methods and exemplary cases of both effective introduction of inquiry to science classrooms and professional development programs, and finally, to deliver a set of guidelines for the educational community to further explore and exploit the unique benefits of the proposed approach in science teaching. In this way, the project team aims to facilitate the development of communities of practitioners of inquiry that will enable teachers to learn from each other.
we brought new issues into a classroom. We combined classrooms with science centers, for example, and we brought also classes with a teacher to research centers. For example, one of our partners is CERN in Switzerland, or science centers, for example, in Finland, where the teacher really could play, where they could get used to the new approach of teaching.
And it's very, very encouraging to see that these people have been inspired, not necessarily by us, but by other people as well, and they are bigger than their classroom. They're operating outside of their classroom, and that's another thing that we're looking to do. We're looking to empower, to facilitate people. What we don't do is we don't try to teach teachers how to teach. Teachers are the experts. They are confronted with the young people on a daily basis.
School-based activities in inquiry-based science education are one cornerstone for teacher training and for science learning centers. The successful implementation of inquiry-based learning requires engaging, well-designed and proven inquiry-based science education techniques. Pathway presents a series of case studies as a pool of reference for teacher training activities.
It's about facilitating and empowering people to take an interest in science. Science is very, very important. We're trying to increase scientific literacy through our programs, because we know that not every student will become a scientist, engineer and technologist, but if they understand how science works, this is extremely important. So another big message we also give to students through their teachers is that you don't need to be Peter Higgs or Stephen Hawking to make an interesting, exciting and useful career in science, engineering and technology.
Science centers and museums are excellent informal learning centers for teachers and students. Teachers can take advantage of the opportunities and expertise offered in science centers and museums to expand students' inquiry activities in both formal and informal settings. Research centers are where science happens and new ideas are proposed. Bringing students into close contact with research centers increases their motivation, gives them access to active researchers, and an opportunity to explore the relationship between science and technology in cutting-edge research.
We're working to get teachers to have their students learn through inquiry, to hands-on explore our solar system. Now you can't go out and touch the moon, but what you can do is simulate making craters in a sandbox. You can explore the high-resolution images online and discuss how it's the exact same physics that creates a crater on Earth and a crater on Vesta, Mercury, or the Moon.
Pathway provides a methodology for introducing inquiry-based science education into the classroom. Its best practices in inquiry-based science education is a collection of tools and materials for use in the classroom, as well as workshops for teachers. Material will include instructional models using a standard-based approach to teaching science by inquiry, documentation and methods to motivate teachers to adopt inquiry-based techniques and activities in their classrooms, an extensive collection of open educational resources and teaching practices. Pathway stimulates the creation of communities of practice, designed to bring together science teachers to share and discuss their experiences in science teaching. The communities of practice will take advantage of modern communication tools, including repositories and social networks. Through summer schools, Pathway introduces teachers to inquiry-based science teaching techniques, with the goal of adopting them in the classroom practice. Teachers are immersed in the process of science inquiry via their interaction with collections of open, digital educational resources, and at the same time, they experience a training framework that provides a means for creating learning activities into a workflow and a vehicle for the sharing and reuse of effective lessons in schools. In addition, teachers are being trained to select appropriate ICT tools for exploration, presentation, and collaboration that suit their own needs in terms of planning, implementing, and sharing pedagogical ideas.
I'll tell you what I've found out that I think is interesting. The fact that there are 10,000 teachers that have been affected by this project. The fact that there's a repository of best practices from other projects and from teachers here. I think that's interesting. Also that there's a summer school where science teachers are able to learn about inquiry-based science education, to get experience in it, and also to get experience with the repository so they can upload their best practices.
The Pathway Portal is a resource space for science teachers, students, and science museum educators. The portal's repository contains educational material like photos, videos, animations, exercises, graphs, links, and structured lesson plans. Users can also upload their own materials to the Pathway repository. By being a registered user of the Pathway portal, you can download and upload educational material from and to the repository. Otherwise, if you just want to browse the available content, you can go directly to the repository. The Pathway portal collects and organizes valuable educational content and activities that improve science instruction. All this material has been developed and conducted by science teachers around Europe, following the inquiry-based science education method.
The overall idea was to initiate a number of individual projects as part of the Pathways project to show different dimensions of an inquiry-based science education. And initially, of course, struggling with and clarifying what was scientific inquiry, which they've done, and then transferring those ideas to teachers and having teachers design programs that they think will work in classrooms, and they have done that, and I think they've been very, very successful.
Since 2011, Pathway has been analyzing models for an effective approach to science teaching. The project's sustainability is ensured by the network of teachers that have been involved during the past 3 years, and by the tools like repository that have been developed. Furthermore, the Pathway framework is expected to be the main reference point for the development of the European Science Education Academy services and guidelines.
This kind of body can serve a little bit to unify method of teaching of science in Europe, because we have 27 European countries, but in Europe there are 40 countries, and we have more than 40 methods of teaching. We do not want to unify this method, but we would like to give common spirit. We should teach students of methods, scientific methods, rather than facts. And I think that promoting through common body like academia of education, we can be in a way successful.